Several video clips have been used in this production to help illustrate the message I'm trying to share. I'm in no way claiming these videos to be my own and give full credit to the creator.
Faster, better, more.
The Pharaoh made all of the people of Israel living in Egypt work as slaves. They had to build the buildings and lift many heavy things. They had no time to rest and little to eat. They were not free and they were very unhappy. But the worst thing of all was, one day the Pharaoh decided that the firstborn sons of the Israelites would be killed.
Oh no! They won't get my baby. I'll find some way to save him.
Jochebed, the mother of Moses, decided to float her baby down the river.
Shh, don't be afraid. I won't let the Pharaoh hurt you. Your sister Miriam will be right here to make sure you're safe. What's that?
A baby!
Oh, this poor baby needs a home. I'll take him to the palace and take care of him there.
Excuse me, Princess. If you need a nurse for the baby, I know a good one who lives nearby. Her name...
Come here, little guy. I'll get you. Now I've got you.
Moses, come closer.
Who's there?
God, the Israelites in Egypt are unhappy because they are not free. Go to the Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go.
Why have you chosen me?
Don't be afraid. I will be with you.
But will they believe me?
I will give you signs to show the people that I am with you. Throw your staff on the ground. Now reach down and pick it up by the tail.
And so Moses returned to Egypt to do what God said.
Are you Moses? I have heard about you. What are you doing back here after all these years?
I am here because God sent me. He wants you to free the people of Israel.
Oh, he does he? Too bad for him. Who is this God, anyway? I've never heard of him. Have you?
No, sir, your most royal, wonderful highness.
Well then, this God of yours must not exist, right?
Yes, your most royal, wonderful highness.
Right. You there, come here. We're too nice to the Israelites. After all, they have a big, strong God on their side. Tell my slave masters not to give them any more straw for the bricks they make. From now on, they have to find their own straw.
Yes, your most royal wonderful.
I said go! Ha! Don't try and tell me what to do. I'm the Pharaoh.
It's time for your bath, your royal highness.
I won't give up that easily. Pharaoh, let the Israelites go free. If you do not, God will let plagues happen to Egypt. The plagues will bring very bad things.
No!
See for yourself the power of God.
It is blood.
Just another magic trick. Ugh! Go away! You? Again? What do you want now?
Let my people go. If you don't, God will let frogs come all over the land. Frogs will sleep in your bed and eat your food and...
Frogs? I love frogs. Why, when I was a little boy... never mind about that right now. Who cares about a few frogs? Get out of here! Find Moses and bring him to me. Now. You! Make the frogs go away.
Do you promise to let the Israelites go free?
Yes, yes. Just get rid of these pesky things.
God made the frogs go away, but the Pharaoh didn't keep his promise. He did not free the people of Israel. So God allowed more plagues to happen in Egypt. God let lots and lots...
Moses, look behind us! The Pharaoh's army!
They'll be here soon. Oh no!
Moses, what have you done to us? We would have been better off living unhappily in Egypt rather than dying here in the desert.
Don't be afraid. God will protect us.
Don't hurry, Moses. Rest tonight. Tomorrow morning, raise your hand and stretch out your staff over the sea. It will part, and you will be able to go through on dry land.
Stop! We will stay here till morning. Then we'll recapture them.
And when morning came, Moses stood by the sea and waved his hand over the waters. And the sea parted, just as God had promised.
Come on, follow me.
After them!
Here they come again. What are we going to do?
Just wait.
Then the sea fell upon the Egyptian army and stopped them.
Thank you, God, for saving us.
The Israelites passed through the Sinai Desert.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters, for all those who have been following me and standing with me in the Word of God. Now, let me come with some new material now. We're going to talk about the Ten Commandments, and we're going to speak of how Moses freed his people. You know, and like I said, Hollywood got us seeing that, hey, all the great miracles that God helped Moses get to free his people. But like I said, this some information that's been passed down over 5,000 years ago. And I'm going to see, can I get you to understand a different way? All this could have happened, but it could have happened in a different way. And let me give you my understanding on how I think Moses and them could have freed his people, you know. Now, it was a time in history that the Israelites, as called the Hebrew, they was outnumbered the Pharaohs and his people. You know, they had them outnumbered. You know, Pharaoh even sent out a word to kill off all the males. That's to stop the population from outdoing them. You know what I'm saying? The male species of every unit is a threat, and he had to kill off the male shipment. You know what I'm saying? Because the Pharaoh and them had to control the mind, and they had to control it by strength, by lowering down the numbers. You know what I'm saying? But like I just said, even in the mindset, at the time the people were believing these ancient gods. Generation through generation through generation, they were brainwashed to believe in these ancient gods. And like I just said, I'm gonna turn around and show you. Now, we got these different ancient gods, and each one of these ancient gods had a different head. Like one could have a head like a fox, the other one had a head like a cat, the other one could have a head like a owl. They had different heads on these gods and stuff. But like I said, I call these my pillars right here, my 4 pillars right here. And each one of these pillars also had something on them, that if you disobey these, something bad gonna happen to each one of these pillars gods if you disobey them. And like I just said, you know, like the first one, for example, if you disobey this one, it could bring fleas down on the earth. You get what I'm saying? And the next one right here, it could bring locusts down. The other could be darkness. The other could be hell. Now each one of these gods right here, if the people disobey these gods right here, it would bring the plagues down on the Israelites. That's how the Pharaohs had them believing in that. Moses had to come and prove to them all this was nothing but a bunch of false gods they believing in, you know. And it was hard for Moses to get them to understand this. But God came to Moses and let Moses know, you know. And Moses had to share this with the people, let them know they are being brainwashed by the Pharaohs and believing in these false gods and stuff, you know. Now, when Moses came to Pharaoh and proved the Pharaoh that these are nothing but false gods and stuff, he had to convince the people now. You know, not only the Pharaoh he had to convince the people now. You know what I'm saying? And like I just said, once he convinced the people that none of these things is gonna happen to them, and they believed in him now, that the only way he could free his people, he had to free their mind first, and they were able to walk away from Pharaoh now, because they was outnumbered stuff. You know, and even this other part they even show you, that how Moses put his stick in the water and opened up the Red Sea and everybody walked through, that could be explained too. Now, it could have been a time in history that they spoke of someone gonna come and free the people. You know what I'm saying? And when other villagers around there heard that this man, Moses, is going up against the Pharaoh, and when he got around to free his people, other villages could have opened up their land and let Moses and his people walk through. And when Pharaoh and them can't charge behind them, they attacked Pharaoh and them. You know what I'm saying? That's how that could have played off. That could have been the Red Sea right there that they had to walk through, and other villages stopped Pharaoh and them from getting to the people. You know what I'm saying? And like I just said, you know, there's always two sides to every story. And I'm just thinking out loud.
Into creation. Atum then created air, a son he named Shu, and moisture, a daughter he named Tefnut. They were the first divine pair and soon had children of their own, the earth named Geb and the sky called Nut. The second divine pair then had 4 children of their own, Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys, completing the group of 9 primeval gods known as the Aeneid. Osiris then married his sister Isis, and the two ruled over Egypt together in an unprecedented time of peace and prosperity. However, their jealous brother Seth desired the throne for himself and murdered Osiris, dismembering his body and scattering the parts across the land. Isis then searched for the pieces of her husband's body, and with the help of her sister Nephthys, was eventually able to collect them. With the help of the scholar god Thoth and the funerary god Anubis, Isis was able to reconstruct Osiris, creating the first mummy. Osiris impregnated Isis after his resurrection, however he was too weak to remain in the world, instead travelling to the Duat, the land of the dead where he became lord. Seth then took the throne for himself, forcing Isis to flee and give birth to her son Horus in hiding. She raised Horus until he was an adult and able to challenge his uncle Seth for the throne. After a violent contest, the case was settled in a divine legal trial hosted by the Aeneid. Acting as judge was Geb, god of the earth, who ruled in favour of Horus, who then took his rightful place as king of Egypt. Future pharaohs claimed descent from Horus, with it being this divine ancestry that gave them the right to rule. Amun, the Hidden One, was the foremost god of Egypt, thought to be the invisible force behind all things, even creation itself. Unlike other gods who were linked to only one aspect of the world, such as the sky, the earth, or the sun, Amun was a universal god who had links to all parts of the cosmos. His prominence also increased as he absorbed other gods throughout Egyptian history, taking on their roles and powers. The most important of these was his merger with the sun god Ra, combining to become Amun-Ra. In this role, he became linked with the sun, which was an essential part of the Egyptian world. It is in this combined state that Amun-Ra rose to prominence, becoming Egypt's chief deity and king of the gods. Amun became so widely worshipped that he came close to becoming the sole deity of Egypt, with the other gods merely being aspects of his great power. Osiris, judge of the dead and king of the underworld, was one of the most respected gods of ancient Egypt. His story of death and resurrection inspired the Egyptians to follow in his footsteps and seek immortality for themselves. The elaborate tombs and burial rituals found in ancient Egypt were all built in search of this goal, with the funerary practices being done to aid the spirit in its journey through the underworld. Pharaohs and wealthy